there, my spooky potatoes, and welcome back to From the Forgotten Rental Shelf, the series where I dust off those forgotten hidden gems that used to hide in the back corners of those video stores and buried in bargain bin oddities. Tonight, we're stepping back to 1942 to talk about a film that rarely gets the love it deserves, Bowery at Midnight, starring the one and only horror icon, Bela Lugosi. Now, when people think of Lugosi, they immediately think of his legendary performance in Dracula, and rightfully so. But after his rise to fame, Lugosi spent much of the 1940s starring in much lower budget horror films that often got overshadowed by bigger studio productions. And honestly, that's where some hidden gems are just waiting to be rediscovered. Imagine this. It's the early 1940s. Universal's monsters are dominating the box office. Audiences are falling in love with Frankenstein's monster, the Wolfman, and Dracula all over again. Meanwhile, smaller studios are trying to capitalize on horror's growing popularity with tighter budgets, shorter runtimes, and increasingly bizarre stories. This is where we enter Monogram Pictures, a studio known for making films quickly and cheaply, and that's exactly where Bowery at Midnight was born. In the film, Lugosi plays Professor Brenner, a respected psychology professor by day and the operator of a charitable mission for the homeless by night. Sounds pretty noble, right? Well, this is a Bela Lugosi horror film, so you know something sinister is hiding beneath that kind exterior. Behind the scenes, Brenner leads a criminal operation that uses the mission as a front for robbery, blackmail, and murder. And when things start to unravel, let's just say science and the dead become involved in ways you probably wouldn't expect. What makes Bowery at Midnight so fascinating is that it feels like several different movies stitched together, and it somehow works. So in this film, you will see that we have several elements, such as crime thriller elements, mad scientist horror, murder mystery, and very early zombie-style resurrection scenes. It's like the filmmakers took every popular horror trend of that era and threw them into a blender. And honestly, that's part of the charm of this movie and why it's one of my favorites. This movie moves fast. At just over an hour long, it doesn't waste time. Every few minutes, something new and completely unexpected is happening. By the time Bowery at Midnight was released, Lugosi wasn't getting the prestige roles he used to or deserved. But even in lower budget productions, he brought an undeniable presence to the screen. His Professor Brenner is calm, sophisticated, and deeply unsettling. He doesn't need elaborate makeup or special effects in this one to be frightening. His voice, his stare, and the unmistakable screen presence do all the heavy lifting for him. It's a reminder of why Lugosi became a horror legend in the first place. So we have a couple facts about this movie. I don't want to give too much away because we will be watching this movie on July 1st on Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. So be sure to tune in for Wednesday watch along for that. And we will be having a music after show. Fact number one, it was made on a tiny budget. Monogram Pictures specialized in very fast and inexpensive productions, and Bowery at Midnight was no exception. This film was shot quickly, using existing sets whenever possible. Fact number two, the runtime is barely an hour. It's clocking in around 62 minutes long. This movie gets straight to the point. There's no filler, no slow build, just crime, murder, secret laboratories, and questionable science. So this movie is perfect for those that don't necessarily like the slower burns. Fact number three, it was almost lost. For years, high-quality prints of Bowery at Midnight were difficult to find, contributing to its reputation as a forgotten Lugosi film. Thankfully, preservation efforts have helped make it more accessible to the classic horror movie fan. And fact number four, Lugosi made several films for Monogram. During the 1940s, Lugosi appeared in multiple Monogram horror films, including The Corpse Vanishes and Voodoo Man. These films may not have had the budgets of the Universal classics, but they've developed devoted cult followings over the years. So will this work for modern audiences? If you're expecting big scares or polished effects, probably not. So it's definitely not for somebody that likes all that mumbo jumbo. But if you are somebody that does love vintage horror and more atmospheric movies, especially black and white cinematography, and watching a true icon just command the scene like the badass that he was, then there's a lot to enjoy here. The film is wonderfully weird, delightfully chaotic, and impossible to predict. It's exactly the kind of movie this series was created to celebrate. So let's see. On the Forgotten Rental Shelf scale, Bowery at Midnight earns 4 spooky potatoes out of 5. It's not Lugosi's most famous film, but it might be one of his most entertaining hidden gems. If you're a fan of classic horror or looking to explore beyond the usual Universal monster lineup, it is absolutely worth adding to your watch list. Have you seen Bowery at Midnight? Do you think it deserves the recognition among classic horror fans? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed today's trip into horror history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join our community of weird kids grown weird adults. Until next time, my spooky potatoes, keep supporting the forgotten horror and keep those rental shelves dusty. And also a huge shout out to the supporters of the channel over on Ko-fi, Patreon, YouTube memberships, and also shout out to you guys who comment, like, share, and all that good stuff. I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.